do do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, hey! I didn't see you there. Ah, welcome to the next part in our build of the U-96 U-Boat, the 1/72 scale Revell kit. Let's see how far we've got. Right, well, as you can see, I'm currently in the process of drilling out all the vent holes. When you make the kit, or when you build the kit, or when you buy the kit even, the vent holes are all solid, as they would be if the craft was underwater. As per the client's request, I'm now drilling all these out so they're open. It looks more visually interesting, I'll be honest with you. So we've got all the holes on the front here, all down the side. I'm having trouble keeping all this in shot. All these ones and the ones at the back need to be drilled out. So I'm on the process of doing that, or in the process of doing that. As you can see, I've done one half of the hull already. So we have lots of lovely, lovely holes. And there as well. Process of doing that hull was about 5 or 6 hours. Yeah, it took that long, and that's one half. What I'm simply doing is drilling out each vent hole with the pin vise. I've no idea what size that is because my pin vise is just bits in a pile, so I couldn't tell you. Drilling out 3 holes in each piece. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. There's 3 little holes in each vent. Then I'll go back with the sharp modelling knife, trim out all the excess, make it nice and hollow. Then I'll go back with some 220 grit sandpaper, very fine strip, I'll just cut off, sand the top and the bottom. Then go back with some 2,500 grit sandpaper, again top and bottom, just to smooth them off completely. And yeah, so when this is all done, it'll be about 10 or 11 hours worth of work just to get these holes drilled out. And I've drilled out all these little holes, which you can't see. And then forgot completely there's a piece of plastic that goes over these, so you won't even see those at all. Hooray! So that's where I am at the minute. Work's been a little slow. I've been just really super busy, so I've not had as much time as I'd hoped for. I've started building the upper deck for this sail, or conning tower, or however you prefer the terminology. Some people call it a sail, some call it a conning tower. Part of this build is really about planning how I'm going to paint and where. I built one of these before, so I know what to expect. The housing that goes around here, which sits around this part, makes it very hard to paint in here. So I'm going to ideally have to paint this before I glue this on. That's not a problem. Housing that goes below, that just sits on the deck. So again, I can build this in, get all this painted, get the top wall on, and there's other bits that go on this. Get the right way up. Other bits that go on this. So part of this difficulty in this kit is planning how you're going to build things. And I'm also thinking about how to paint best as well. So lots of thinking going on. Not as much thinking as when I made that heavy arms Gundam, but still lots of thinking. I've also just about finished the weaponry for the deck. We have the, if I can get them out with my magical tweezers, we have the 88mm anti-aircraft gun, or the flat gun, that sits on the foredeck. That goes, there's a housing that builds around this, and I've been thinking about how best to paint this, because it's supposed to be 2 colour, darker grey on the top, so the colour of the lower hull, German grey, and then the lighter grey on the bottom half. But there is a housing, which if I can get it out, all hot tweezer action. There is a 2-part housing which sits on either side of this, which just slots in there. I can't put both on because it's really delicate and it'll just fall apart. Which just sits on either side. This needs to be the colour of the lighter colour. So painting the top half of the gun is going to be really difficult once I've got that all assembled. So I'm still trying to figure that bit out. I'll figure it out. Also built the aft. I'm guessing it's an MG42. I can't actually remember, so correct me in the comments if I got it wrong. I think it's an MG42, but it might not be. I think it's an anti-aircraft gun of a higher calibre. When I originally made this kit many years ago, this came out like just a complete mess. The one thing with this kit, although the hull is beautifully rendered and the hull parts are beautifully moulded, some of the smaller parts, like this, are just a mess. They're indistinct, they're vague, the bits of sprue that they're attached to are often bigger and chunkier than the pieces themselves, and you end up with, you know, damaging the parts to get them off. It's not one of Revell's finest days. I say, although most of it looks alright, it looks really nice, like the hull, although there's still some issues with that. These are really vague and indistinct. So, but one thing I've noticed is when I first made this kit many years ago, I used thick Humbrol poly cement. Now I'm building this with Tamiya extra thin cement, and it's coming together much nicer. I'm not losing all the little tiny details. So that's come out a lot nicer. So all the basic bits for those two guns are now assembled. Also started to put together the upper decking shroud for the sail. Again, painting is going to make this interesting, so I'm trying to keep as many sort of separate units and sub-assemblies as I can. And that's where we're up to so far. So slow progress. I say I have had a real limit on time for this so far, which is a bit annoying. Oh, one other issue as well I've come to notice, and I've forgotten about from the original last time I built this kit. The hull, when it's attached to the sprue, see that? See that? It's attached with the thickest pieces of sprue you can imagine. It's each hull half is attached to the other hull half by little pieces in the middle that join up. They're like that thick, and they actually extend below the line of the top of the hull, which is really annoying because I've got to get the decking in here and it's got to fit together perfectly, and it's really hard to get them off without actually cutting into the hull. So no marks out of 10 for that one, Revell. It's yet another Revell kit that quite often reinforces my belief that Revell just often generally make really terrible kits. So some of the moulding is fantastic, it's really good quality, but nothing has ever actually really changed my opinion of Revell kits over the years. Now you may think, oh well, you like the Colonial Viper. Yeah, that was a Mobius kit that Revell just changed the decals and got the license to produce themselves. So that was Mobius's tooling, it wasn't even Revell's. So that one was great, because they didn't design it. So yeah, it's coming on nicely. Design and tooling issues aside, it's going to look fantastic when it's finished, don't get me wrong. This is going to be a gorgeous model, and I know it will because I've made one before. Now last time I made one, I was still learning various weathering techniques, and truth be told, looking at it now in my room over there across the room, it's not brilliant. There's a lot more I can do on this one now that I didn't know or wasn't able to do when I made the last one, so it should look vastly superior. So that's where we're up to so far. I'll do it for this time. When we come back next time, hopefully, I'll have at least assembled the hull. We might have even started some of the priming and painting, but that remains to be seen. But we shall see where we're up to. So anyway, yeah, come back for the next one and I'll update you on to the progress. But until then, stay tuned for more videos. Thank you for watching, as ever, and adios amoebas.